You good, Jose, or what? What's good? What's good? What's good? Right here, my boy El Bardo.
Yo, yo, yo.
What do you know what you're smoking this time or no?
I don't know what are we smoking, Jose.
No, músico
Nah, don't call
exótico.
it that. I hate that.
It sounds like
Músico
a
exótico.
like a bachelorette dancer guy. Like, who do you got for your bachelorette?
I don't
Músico
know.
exótico.
We're smoking weed. That's it.
But yeah, today we're back at it. We're gonna go back to the how we had promised everyone we're gonna do our podcasters. This is our third podcaster that we're inviting in to the AMG building, and
Okay.
it's the third female. You know,
To
because
the
the last time it was two of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was the first time we ever had females in here, not counting my wife, of course. So we want to say what's up to another podcaster. Her podcast. She's here to talk to us about For Real podcast is Paula G
Paula
or
G,
Paula
yeah.
Garcia.
What's up? What's up?
What's good? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. We're starting here.
Yeah.
We're about to
I see it.
we're about to dive in here. My
Yeah.
my boy Bart, he thinks it's very funny, and I think it's kind of. I'm gonna admit, I thought it was kind of tripped out. I mentioned it I think in the episode with Las Chingonas, the day that we did the live audience, and you're like, oh yeah, well, yeah, this guy used to be my coach, and I'm just like, holy
Yeah,
shit,
I'm like
it's you, Paula. Like, I mean,
Surprise.
that's
Yeah.
so crazy. I'm like, that's what I was thinking about when I was on my way here. I'm like, I can't wait to ask. I gotta hear this fucking story, or
Wow.
at least you tell me about what this guy was like
Back in
as a
back
coach.
in high
As a
school?
that's
coach,
crazy, man. Yeah,
Not a bad coach. Not a bad coach. Things went left. I think some of you had a co-coach or an assistant coach, or you were co-coaching with somebody.
with was that with Aga?
Yeah.
I just seen Aga too, man.
but were you the main coach, compa?
Well, we were both head coaches,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah,
And
I've
how was
always
your
been a
team?
little
Were you
bit,
guys good? Were you guys good?
yeah.
We were good. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I
not to,
coached
not
it.
too of my
Because I
own.
know,
hurt.
I know,
we were
compa's
good.
he's
I
a big
coached the
soccer guy.
Frost-off team is what I was
Okay.
coaching. So freshman, sophomore.
Yeah.
Ross.
I don't know if that even
I don't know.
exists or not.
No,
I
I
mean,
think it's
I've
like
heard it
JV
before,
now.
but I've never heard
JV.
Fro-
Frost-off.
Frost off. I've never heard.
I
that
thought
word.
that is that how you? Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Frost-off.
That's a Chicago thing.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
so.
probably.
Yeah.
Because it's like no cut, right? It's like no cut sports.
Everybody
Everybody
makes it.
plays.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
In 16th place.
Was she good, compa?
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the other thing. Now, here's
Or,
where
or did
I
she
want
just play?
That's
just
I want
okay,
to
you
I want to
guys-
clear this up because when I started
Talking
shouting out
shit.
the podcast, and then I would keep seeing the for real, and I'm like, who, and it was Paula and Sarah, I believe,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, do I know these people? Because that's showing the reposts and everything, and well, the chingonas, I didn't know them either, and then you have to realize though that I knew of Paula and I met Paula, but I knew 15-year-old Paula. Like I remember when you did a quinceañera, I think, or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm not too sure. But 15, 16-year-old Paula is the Paula I knew. And I was
Frost off.
19, frost off. And I was
Frost off,
19 at
Paula.
that time. I was a year after I graduated was when I did coaching. I
Okay,
was at
shit.
Columbia, and then I would go and coach the frost off. We did we probably made it to the semifinals, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, no, we made it all the way right before we went to City, I think, and then
Yeah.
that's when they took us out.
Yeah, I remember all that. We were pretty good, man.
Yeah.
All right.
We
Pretty
were
decent.
in the red division. I don't know what they call them now.
Oh, I don't
But that was
know.
the highest division.
Oh,
But she was
all
good.
right.
And yes, I was
Yeah.
good. So.
Yeah, she was.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, yo me acuerdo, she siempre se ponía su chongo,
Ah,
and she
güey.
was always like
Su
abuelita
chongo.
de Zacatecas.
Yeah.
Compa Noe would be like, arriba Zacatecas.
Yeah. You know,
But,
I was just listening to the
That-
episode right
that's
now,
the
the way
thing.
here with them.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Paulo. Maybe I'm getting the wrong interpretation sometimes when I listen. The times that I've listened to all of you guys together,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, do they feel like you're not Mexican enough in a way?
Bro, oh my God. I was going to say that.
Did I hit
wanted
that or
to
no?
ask.
Because
I
I'm like,
wanted to ask.
because look, compa, I've seen Paula on goddamn horses. Like that's the Paula I remember.
Okay, and this is what I wanted to bring up, that I was going to ask the same thing, because I don't feel like like hearing the pod right now. I was
You
on my
should see
way
their
here. They're
faces.
like making it sound like she looks like some complete white girl,
I mean,
like a blonde white girl or something. I'm
Granted,
like,
she lives in Hinsdale.
well, yeah, but that, I mean, that she got here.
She
and I'm
doesn't
like,
live in Hinsdale.
She
Sorry,
doesn't.
sorry.
I'm like, she doesn't look like.
Well, you know,
but to make,
she
they
drives
make it
by
sound like
Hinsdale. She drives by Hinsdale all the time.
All right.
Drives
Wow.
by Hinsdale. Oh, blowing up my spot. Yeah, yeah. No, you know what? At first, when I met the guys, when I met the girls, everything was we just clicked with like us and chingonas, and then I think I started talking to Checo first,
And then
it was cool.
How did you meet the girls? Let's go back to that real quick.
How was it? Well, it was this one occasion where you guys were shouting us out. So
Yeah,
thank you, by
I mean
the
it
way.
was via social media though.
Yeah, it was via so,
virtual,
and then we just started
yeah.
messaging each other like, hey, how are you? I started listening to them, and it was more of an organic. Like I started listening to them, they were listening to me, and we really vibed. We started chatting.
Yeah.
We started a group chat. We're like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, we should do something together. And then same thing with the guys with Compas Unfiltered. We started chatting. Everything was really good, and then we met in person for the first time at your first live.
That was the very first
Yeah,
time you actually
we met in
them,
person.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And funny story, I'm gonna put Noe on blast here. So
They're probably gonna get mad at me for saying that. I probably. Well, I don't know. You're gonna correct me if I'm right or wrong on that.
so when we got there, I got there first. Like I like to be places early. I think early is on time and on
Yeah.
time is late.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got there and I saved a seat because from all of the conversations and everything, I thought the place was going to just be packed and I didn't know what to expect. I was going by myself. So I was like, I'll save a table if I'm there before because I knew the girls were trailing a little bit back. So I got there, saved a table. And then the guys got there, but I didn't notice, but they were sitting in the table in the back.
Right behind you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they didn't want to come to the front. And I was like, is it me? Is it me? Like it just bad vibe. So I was like, I'm going to go back there and say hello. And Checo is very friendly. And then I think like he just got this vibe like, And he asked me, I think he thought like, are you my people? And we've had conversations like this, like, I think he was like, like questioning my Mexican card.
By the way.
Yeah.
This is displaying
But you know what, though?
Are you my people displaying Snowy?
No, but you know what? I love that
I
because
think he meant like Middle Eastern. What do they call
my
it?
gosh.
Apu or Hadi or something.
Don't get canceled.
No.
Don't get canceled, Bart.
no, I was telling him I love that because I'd rather somebody straight up ask me.
Yeah.
And then, we either get along or we don't.
Yeah.
Rather than, somebody always having that idea about me. And then you just always have, like, you just never vibe.
Just a little
And-
doubt.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just never know. And then we were talking about something. They were talking about soccer, actually. And then they looked at me like, huh? Like, because I was telling them I played for Clasa. They're like, wait, who do you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how good were you that you played for Clasa? Because they were talking about some other leagues that they played. And I was telling them about, like, I'm like, I know. And so then they're like, oh, okay.
Wow.
All right.
So was my instinct right though? Did they, I mean, no, he thought, right? Like he asked you. But
Yeah.
the chingonas were cool right off the bat.
Yeah, no, we were cool. We started talking and that felt really natural. I mean, I think it's natural for somebody to, if they don't know you or they don't know what your, shared or life experiences to
Yeah.
kind of just, and then that's the best part about getting to know people, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then you discover things about people. Something, that's just human nature. We judge
Correct.
and off of looks. And I don't look maybe like, I mean, it's stupid to say, right? Because you say like, well, what is a Mexican supposed to look like?
I agree.
Yeah.
But I
don't-
do get that a lot.
But I don't believe
You do get that. A
I
lot.
think
Yeah.
I think you look Mexican.
Yeah.
I would have never
Thank
thought
you.
that you were white. No, la neta. That's why kind of right now when you got here, I'm like, nah, with these was like, because I know compa had brought it up to me
Yeah.
before. Like, you feel like they kind of, I'm like, yeah, they know you kind of does, pero, but you guys are cool though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh my gosh, no, it's all love.
Shout
Dude,
out the compas
They have
Unfiltered.
a group chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And the
Yeah.
chingonas.
My compas like, bro, they
all
didn't
of
even
us.
invite. They
Yeah,
didn't
we're
invite
not,
us.
we're not part of the pod
well, you
fam.
guys didn't give us your number.
Fucking Bart. Well, Bart wasn't even there.
I didn't
He
go.
fell asleep
I
that
did.
day, bro.
I did.
Bro.
The day of the aguacate, the guac
Live.
live. Fucking bastard. We only had a limited amount. You were part of the guys that didn't show up, man.
We got to go into that.
So talk to me about for real. Because I know you're like the quote unquote OG. Like you started before all of us, technically.
Yeah.
I've been at this now. It'll be 4 years.
Damn.
No, lies. 3 years in November. So
Oh
yeah.
shit, yeah. 3 years
So-
this November.
3 years
Yeah.
this November. So 2 years before that, I started listening to podcasts like way back when you only had like a handful. We're
Right.
talking like Serial, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
So there were only people
Crime
were still
junkies and stuff
yeah,
like
like
that.
people were still kind of like, oh, well, what's a podcast?
Yeah.
And then why am I going to listen to that versus the radio? Or how do you even find what you want to listen? And so I love a lot of like true crime, and Joe Rogan. He was one of the first people I ever started listening to. Investigations and like journalism, things like that. I'm all about it. And so I started just listening, and I was like, man, I think I have some stuff to say that's worth listening to. So I tried to figure out and teach myself. I don't have any audio.
But is that what inspired you to just start?
Yeah.
Just because you're like, all right, well, let me see what I can do.
Yes. No, I was like, I want to try this. And a lot of the time they tell you, well, if you have an idea, just start. Because one day you're going to regret, it'll be a year in the future. And you're like, man, I wish I would have started a year ago. Where would I have been
Right.
now?
That's dope. Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'll just go ahead and start it. And I was trying to figure out, do I want to do this by myself? Do I want to do this with somebody? And then I known Sarah since we were kids in middle school, or not
Okay.
even middle school, in elementary. I think we were in class together since I was in 5th grade. She was 6th grade. She's a year older than me. And we always got along really well. I'm a makeup artist. She's a makeup artist. We've done a ton of jobs together. We work really well together, and we have like the same sense of humor. We get a lot of the same stuff. We like a lot of the same stuff, and it really worked. I mean, it was a really good time
Right.
doing it with her.
And as of now, you're doing it alone, solo.
Yeah, I'm doing it by myself. I mean, you'll know, right? Doing something like this, it takes a lot of commitment.
Oh,
She
yeah.
entered a new stage in her life where she was pregnant. She recently had her baby. So
Okay.
it's a lot. I mean, it's late nights for
It's a
me.
handful.
Yeah.
And for her now too, with the baby, of course.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
that's priority.
And then you do everything. You do your editing, everything. That.
Editing, I would like, putting show notes together. I like to research, especially if I'm going to be talking about like politics or anything like that. I like to put some work into it before, because I don't like to talk out of my ass.
Yeah.
So, and if ever I make a mistake, I'll correct it. Like I'll retract myself next episode, because I don't like putting out misinformation. So especially if we're talking about I don't know, anything serious, leaning towards serious, on the serious side, I always do research. So it
Yeah.
takes a lot of time,
Yes, it does.
and this doesn't pay.
So
Not yet anyway.
So here's the part where I had listened to I forgot which one it was. Was it maybe when you were doing the Compas one, and you had mentioned, I think it was, you had mentioned that you had a different name in mind.
Yeah.
I think they should maybe do that,
Yeah.
because it's a pretty badass name actually.
I said it out loud, huh?
You did. You didn't want to. You actually caught yourself and you said, you know what? I don't want to say it because maybe somebody will you. And I already went to go trademark it. So
Well, thanks. It is a pretty badass name.
you should.
I hand drew
Especially
a
now
logo.
because you're just kind of like, you're doing the the move to kind of go solo in a way.
Yeah.
I think it's actually perfect timing as well. I like that cheese most.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's another. I mean, for me, I go off of a lot
I
of
just
like
said it.
Yeah.
No se lo vayan a
Chismos,
quitar.
yeah, that's what I
No
was.
se lo vayan a quitar. cabrón.
Wait,
Yeah.
but now we've said it twice, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
like that was
we don't
my
have
idea.
we don't have tons of viewers yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it was chismos because it was like it's a to play off of the way we speak, right? Chismosa, and just putting either an Asian at the end, right, at the end of everything to make it an English word,
Yeah.
or like most just that blend of words, and I think it
The
just
most is cool,
yeah. So that actually came about because before I started it with Sarah, I was going to do it with my compadre. Actually,
Oh shit!
yes, and he's a very busy man. And
Yeah.
Sir has a lot of commitment issues as far as showing up or not, and he knows this. So
Yeah.
I was like, he's like, yeah, he's like, how about I'm a guest whenever you want me to come? He's like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to be there like every
On a
week.
weekly, yeah.
Yeah, but he was, he's honest from the get go, from the beginning. So
That's the best part.
yeah. So I mean, I had already put work. I don't draw for shit.
Right.
And I hand drew a logo. I was doing all the research on how to like put sound together and edit and all of this and that. And I was like, great, now you tell me. So I was at least armed with that knowledge. So by the time I was like, all right, where do I take it from here? So then I reached out to Sarah, and then we talked about it. We're like, well, this is ours, so it should be a different name. So we came out with For Real, For Real. That's, again, something that we used to say a lot when we were younger, like, nah, for real, for real,
Yeah.
for real. So,
that makes sense.
so then that's how For Real became For Real, For Real.
Nice. Well, maybe you should do that. Well, it's your show, but the name is cool. I kind of like the name.
It'll be like
It's very commercial.
like a For Real, After Dark, Chismos.
Cheese
Chismos at night.
Hell yeah. It'll work.
Yeah,
think
compa
so.
told me about that shit too. He had told me. And he
I had
told me
caught it
exactly
that day,
about
and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's a
that's a
fucking
good
nice
one.
name.
Yeah.
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 It's just very marketable,
Yeah.
also.
No, I
Where-
like it. I mean, it was like, I had in my heart, it was the first thing. Like I told you, I said, I'm going to do this. And I just jumped into it.
Yeah.
And when we started For Real, it was like, you say you're going to do it. Oh, in a week. Yeah, we'll get together. And I was like, you know what? I had one mic and then a super old mic that my husband had bought for the DJ for our wedding.
Okay.
And it wasn't even an XLR cord. I had to buy a converter to
Yeah.
put it into this Zoom recorder that I had. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just come on over. Let's just do it.
Right.
And we did. Because it's
Shit.
one of those things where like, we'll wait till we have the right equipment and you save up some money to buy the equipment. And that day just never comes.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's just do it.
Sigue pasando y pasando el
Yeah.
tiempo.
Yeah. And I like to like just rip the Band-Aid. I like when I have an idea, I like just want to do it.
And then how do you go about we had briefly talked about this right before we started with where you and the other guys you guys do have topics.
Yeah.
So how do you go about picking your topics? Because I caught a couple of because I know when we did the Walk Pod Live, I'm like, hey, listen to your show. You're like, stop. I'm like, yeah, I listen to your show. Like, I mean, but again, there are some obviously that are not
Yeah.
meant for me. Like I caught one that was like the $799 perfume or something like that.
Oh,
Like,
it was $400, almost $500. And let me tell you, I
Yeah.
have a story about that perfume.
you got it.
Dude, no, I didn't get
Oh,
Are you kidding? I'd be divorced right now.
no.
It's a lot of money for a
stop.
perfume.
It is.
Like, I'd spend that kind of money. Probably shouldn't be saying it, but on a lot of things. And then I thought about it. Like, I briefly thought about their
What
living on your-
is it? Let's just say a lot of things that you've bought at $4.99, but is it equivalent to the same importance as a perfume?
We're not talking $4.99.
We are not talking $4.99. Everyone's like, what the fuck?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It depends, right? What you find valuable.
Right.
And so, I mean, there's some things that 15-year-old Paula would have slapped 39-year-old Paula for even thinking. But now I was like, you know what? I've come to a place where I'm okay with that. Like, I've worked and it has value to me. So like,
Okay.
will I spend money on a bag? Yes, but I can afford it. It's not like I'm stretching and I'm not going to be able to pay the bills or save for my kids' college. All of that shit squared away.
Right.
And we have savings or this is taken care of.
Fuck it, just get the perfume then.
But see, that's one of those things where I'm not there yet.
Okay.
One day, maybe like if I could just pull it, just go walk in, get it. A bag will last you and it'll actually appreciate in value. Certain bags that I could leave to my daughter or resell and get even more for. Whereas that, I'll finish the liquid and then it's like...
There's this bag that's like picked up some steam. Did I hear that on yours as well? Like, did Kanye just buy like all the Kardashians a certain brand?
Beyonce. It was a Telfar bag. And the beautiful thing about that is the fact that it's this, minority designer that all of the things that have been happening in the last few years with minorities and the strife with police and all of this civil unrest. Okay. And then you talk about, well, how do we change things? Right. And then, you start getting stimulus money. And then what did you see? You saw people forming literal lines outside of Louis Vuitton and Chanel and Gucci.
Oh, yeah.
When
Yeah,
you're thinking this money is supposed to help you reinvest into your community. right? Put money back into your community in order to help the community, not to help them not
stand up.
drown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so so you have a lot of these people saying, well, support Black designers, support Latino designers. They don't have the Louis name yet, the recognition, but why? Because we're not investing in them. You're not
Right.
making it. Who makes these things hot? Louis Vuitton and Chanel. Chanel has always had a name, but certain things like Gucci for a while there, it was like, who made Gucci hot?
Yeah, it pissed me off.
You have Gucci Mane,
I went
you
to
have,
Gucci, and
like-
an hour wait. I'm like, fuck this.
So he knows. Yeah, you have to make appointments.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do.
But rappers make these things hot.
Of course. The minorities, right?
Yes.
Kind of like
And-
when Jay-Z made Cristal popular, and then they're like, nah, we don't support Black people,
Yeah.
and he just stopped drinking
Exactly.
Cristal.
So why not do that and put that star power and put that effort into an up and coming designer? So that's what they did for Telfar. And that bag, Beyonce was like photographed with one of the bags. You can't even get them anymore.
Yeah, you know who it was? It was not Beyonce that I read. It was Floyd Mayweather.
Probably, yeah. So
Had given all his side chicks like 12, like all these bags,
Yeah.
like this particular bag.
yeah, I mean, you have the Hermes bag, the Kelly and the Birkin,
Hermes, yeah.
which are like over $10,000 a bag, which you can't even if you want it. Let's say I had a stack like 10,000 right now to drop. I walk in, they wouldn't even sell it to me.
Shit.
They would not even sell it to me. I'm not a customer. I'm not established, and it's part of what makes everybody want a bag like
The
that.
exclusivity almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you have designers like this. Well, you don't know, like now these people are funding factories, which are funding, their employees, which take that money into their homes and into their communities.
Yeah.
And then those are the people that you want to support and help them make a name for themselves. So, yeah.
And then going back to the perfume, have you smelled that perfume?
So I did. I went to the department store because I'm very curious. So I was like, well, what's the big deal? Because literally this thing was making people go broke
Who's the
during the
maker?
pandemic. It's Killian. So it's actually one of the fragrance houses, just like you have fashion houses, like you have Versace and Gucci, Chanel, like you have these fashion houses that have been there since, they're some of the first ones to ever stand. So same thing with, it's called Baccarat Rouge. And it's one of those, it's an actual art to perfumery. So they put all of these notes and these scents together, and it's not like the alcohol, right, that we can afford, that we go in, that we buy. And that's why they've stood the test of time. So, there's a reason why they're pricey, because they're not putting in a lot of additives like water and alcohol, like filler things like that. It's actually the oils and just the like certain components to make that scent, and that's why they're so expensive. And obviously the name, because who doesn't want to covet something like that? But like, well, I
Right.
can't afford that. Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want that now,
It's actual angel's breath.
dude.
They actually got a fucking angel on. That's crazy, man. $4.99 for that.
Yeah.
Well, at least Valentine's coming around the corner.
That's a small bottle
soon.
too.
Bart.
The small
The
bottle.
I'm sorry, the medium.
The small
That's the
one.
0.78 minute.
That's
Yeah,
a 3.4
wow.
fluid ounce.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it does smell good. I don't know that I wouldn't drop that for it.
Never say never.
Not now. Not
Yeah.
now. But yeah,
She's gonna get it.
Well,
She's
it
smells
good.
good, though.
Not
Yeah,
now.
it's not like you
Yeah.
spend $4.99 on other things. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I'm saying. You might as well get the
That was
perfume.
good.
Yeah.
no.
The
When
perfume.
I have I bought like a travel size, and whenever I
that?
wear, yeah,
Oh, see?
She
The
got
tra-
it already.
that was $3.99.
That was only three. Yeah.
Sorry.
no, I won't
Sorry.
tell you how much, but no, whenever I wear it. It stays on my clothes, even if after I wash
There
it,
you
it stays
go.
on my clothes, and I get compliments every single time.
There you go.
I feel embarrassed though to tell the people. Like they always ask you, like, "What are you wearing?"
You have to let it ride. You have to let it ride.
I feel bad though. I
What's
don't
the
do it.
name again?
Huh? Baccarat Rouge.
We're gonna look
Yeah,
it
they're
up.
like, what the fuck?
Jose. Look that up.
Don't tell. Jose's already looking it up. Jose's going to get it for his
Jose.
girl. He loves that
It's
stuff.
good. It's good.
Baca Roach.
It's good. Not $400 good, but it's good.
Damn. She
Just
did get the
300.
little traveler's one, man. I knew it.
I had to try it.
I
I
knew
was
it.
talking about it on the podcast.
You
Like
could've
I'm
just
going to
gotten a
go in the
sample.
middle of a pandemic.
Aquí en el
won't-
papelito.
dude.
Échale unos sprays.
No
aquí
te
en
lo
el papel.
dan.
Ni madre,
No, bro. Like no, it'd be like pay me $10 for a spray on the paper.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, this is not like the perfume ladies at the counter that they're
20
spraying
bucks,
that
give me
stuff
10.
on
It's
you
not
and you're running from them.
the
Nope.
old lady at Marshall Fields or
No.
Macy's. I said Marshall Fields.
No. They'll
At
charge
Macy's?
you to
Marshall
spray
Fields.
you.
I'm the old man at Marshall
Yeah.
Fields.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so I caught that one.
You took it back.
That episode.
So you were saying that's not for you. Yeah, we had like a 10-minute conversation.
I
about
just
it
thought
right
it
now.
was. I thought
You
it
gotta
was.
go back and listen to it tomorrow.
I thought it was curious. I mean, $4.99. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the most you spent on a cologne, compa?
Nah, I don't know.
Off the top of your head, do you know?
Nah, hell no. I don't know.
No?
I got the big bottle. The last time I bought one, I got the big bottle of light blue.
Dolce Gabbana.
Dolce Gabbana light blue. But I don't.
Nice.
I don't remember how much it was.
And that's a good amount.
The big bottle. I don't know. That's a big fucking Costco bottle you got.
No. It was, I don't know. It's probably over $100. I don't fucking.
Dolce
No.
Gabbana light blue.
I don't know to tell you the truth. I don't remember.
No, you cologne
It's
guy,
it's a little under 200 if you got the.
the big bottle. Yeah, you're probably like at 150 or something.
Something like that. I think I got a deal on it. It never got
Ah,
on
pues
sale.
también. Gastaste buen billete de todos modos. It's not bad.
Was it $3.99, $4.99, $4.99?
50
No.
bucks. That's probably the small bottle.
Nah.
Yeah, the real small one.
Yeah, the travel size for that was like $30 ish. So. Yeah.
150, right? Yeah.
See?
I paid a little less.
Told you.
Light
Like
blue.
discount.
That's a
That
good
was
one.
fire way.
It's alright.
I think I like it.
No taxes. See, I could be on the prices right.
Hell yeah. The light blues are right. I'll give it to you. I mean, you should have worn your $3.99 one today. At least
Maybe
on
I
your
did.
coat. On your coat or something.
Maybe I did. Maybe I
Me
when I
quedé
got
con
out of
esa duda,
here.
like, man, I
smell it,
gotta-
we smell. We smell something
I know.
else. Yeah.
We'll see
We
after
smell
I get
something
out of
else.
here if that'll overpower it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then also you guys just did your guys' live audience.
Yes.
With obviously Chingonas and Compas Unfiltered. And you were also saying the amount of stress that you guys were under. My boy Checo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. How about my
Shout
boy
out to
Checo.
Chico.
How about my boy Checo? When he came on here, he let us know that he actually got anxiety because of the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man,
Well, we kept telling
tranquilo.
him.
You gotta smoke some weed, man.
Yeah.
Which he did that day.
Yeah, and then he was good.
And he was good.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He's.
So
he
how
I
said
can
was-
he
see
how
though.
was
I
that?
understand why though because he's a very methodical person. He likes to
Okay.
know what goes into it and the outcome. And like when you're recording this, if you're editing, your mind, you want to be present, but a lot of the times you're thinking, oh, was there a pop? How's that gonna sound? How's that gonna affect? Am I gonna have to cut this section out? And if I cut this section out because there was feedback on the mic, how's that gonna affect the flow of the conversation? And he
Yeah.
doesn't like to edit, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
And how does that mess up? So I get it from that perspective, how it would totally stress him out. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, we're anti-editors here too. We don't edit anything.
We
man.
had a really funny. What was it? Was it the one that didn't record where the cops passed by for like 5 minutes?
Yeah. No, that one's pretty bad. Well, we're not gonna edit it. It
Yeah,
was like
no,
10
no.
minutes worth of
The cops
patrullas
just passing by.
just going to Midway. Something was going on in Midway. It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't
We don't
really
edit.
edit. I had told them that day too, like, man, you gotta stop stressing out. De todos modos ya está hecho kind of thing, But how was the pod? I mean, I heard it was great. My boy Fry went.
yes, he did.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you guys so much. I'm so happy for all the support. We were all so excited to have Fry there. We know you wanted to make it.
I almost made it, but god damn it, we went to a private and some lady, la señora me la hizo de pedo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Shout out to
We
that
shouted-
señora.
we shouted her out.
She didn't
no?
let me leave early, man. She
Yeah.
didn't want to pay me.
Oh,
Like she was supposed to pay me before so I can go. Y ni madre. She's like, nah, you're gonna have to wait. I'm like, damn it. I got fucking plans, man. So I didn't make it.
No,
But yeah,
it was
I mean,
good.
I heard it was good.
It was good. We had a packed house.
Did you like the experience?
It was. Oh,
Were
I
you
would
nervous?
totally do it again. No,
You were not
I
nervous?
loved it. No,
Okay.
I loved it. I was very excited. For me, you just think about logistics. Like,
Okay.
is the sound going to be okay? We were outside. We were afraid it might rain, so
Yeah,
we
you
kept
had the
looking
natural-
up.
yeah.
Yeah. So thinking about those things, but just being in the moment, it was really really cool. Really really cool. I mean, my mom was even there. Was
Yes.
talking a little shit. I thought she was gonna kill me. She was actually laughing. She had a good time.
Yeah, I did catch you say a couple times like it's a family.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Family
what
show.
Yeah, she kept
Yeah.
telling me, 'cause
Like
they
It's
four
a family
times the
show.
chingona.
We
Like,
had-
Chingonas kept
we-
cussing like a motherfucker. Yeah, and
We-
she kept, and Paula kept saying, hey, it's a
like,
family
hey.
show. It's a family
We
show.
So at first we're like, hey, are we gonna have the littles here or not? And then Cynthia brings her brood, and then I was like, well, fuck it, I'll bring my kid. And so yeah, there were like Noah's kids like running around the whole place, and I was like, bro, it's a family show. There's kids around here. I mean, it was cool. Like they weren't even paying attention, but sometimes it's like mom mode, and then it was just funny at some point. And I was like, bro, it's a family show.
yeah.
It's a family show. We said it was. We purposely
guys-
stayed away from some topics because the girls are like, it's a family show. We want to make it family friendly.
Oh, okay.
But no, it ended up being really, really funny.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was
we
good.
had a good
The
time.
topic was good.
Yeah.
The topic was good. I liked it too. Tell me, was it something like, tell me you're Mexican?
Growing up Mexican.
Growing up Mexican.
So we were basically
Tell
just
me you're
busting on
Mexican
our
without telling
siblings and our
Yeah.
parents and
Almost.
aunts
Yeah.
and uncles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was an easy topic to.
Hell yeah.
to-
I mean,
Somebody's
everybody has a
parents
story.
were late,
Huh?
right? The Chingonas' parents were late.
Yeah.
Who was the-
yeah, that. But they surprised them too with
Yeah.
their grandpa and their auntie.
yeah, that was super cool. That they were supposed to leave, right? They were
Yeah.
supposed to leave, and they didn't end up leaving. They
grandfather.
came to
Yeah.
the show.
So they
That's pretty
showed up
badass,
and
yeah.
they surprised them. So we had the waterworks.
Yeah.
I think it's like their signature move at
Are
this
you a
point.
crier or no? It depends.
In some scenarios, not really.
Yeah, we had a crier here. I mean, Diana shed a couple tears. Like, damn, all right.
I know.
Yeah.
I heard that was super sweet. I mean, it'll take. Listen, I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
It'll take some real to make me cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just feel like you're kind of strong because of all that you've been through.
Growing up again in a Mexican household, being the oldest
Yeah.
girl or being the oldest kid, period, and then being a girl, and then just living through, and I've talked about it on the
I
podcast.
heard.
I've been through some shit, and
Yeah.
so for me, in those certain moments I cried, and I would tell myself, there's only so many tears I will give certain scenarios or situations, and I'll just leave them in the past. I'll talk about them because of experiences or stories that other people will ask me, or they'll help somebody along the way, because knowing what we know now, especially with social media, a lot of people coming out talking about their traumas and how they've always felt like they were alone. And
Yeah.
as much as we can shit on social media, that's one thing that it helps you feel connected to whatever community you can find to find that support,
Right.
like like abuse victims or people like women who've suffered infertility, domestic violence, just so many different things.
Yeah.
And to me, like in that moment in time, I shed the tears, and every now and again something will get me there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm just like, I just keep it pushing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guys, I think all three of you guys, I'm going back to the podcast family. The topics are on point. We talked about how being topics and sometimes, most of the time, we always kind of like stray off. But the topics itself, like, for all three of you guys, I love the tabooness to it in the Mexican culture. Like, talking about homosexuality, talking
Yeah.
about, your story with the compas was fucking touching to me. Like, it was just like, oh shit. Like, and more than anything, it's not like it's the first time we hear stories, but it's the first time in a way that you hear them publicly, because
Yeah.
it's so taboo in our
Mhm.
culture. Like, you can't talk about, Bart or somebody that we know that's close that might be gay,
Yeah.
or that went through some sexual abuse,
Yeah.
or Cynthia talking about her domestic abuse in the recent one, and then they had their uncle when it was the gay
Yeah.
topic. I mean, I love the fact that you guys are just attacking on all cylinders and then even when you guys did a live, and me and Compa talked a little bit about this, how it felt, and it was just for content, I would assume, how it was like Compa Noe is like old school
Yeah.
Mexican in a way, like
Blunt
the
as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
yo voy a trabajar y la mujer, like kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah, that when
Yes.
we recorded them.
That
We
was
went
awesome.
toe to toe.
Yeah.
And the girls, you girls were like, "Ah." hold me back, hold me back. Like, oh shit.
Such a great episode.
And Checo was just
I
like,
love
let me
it.
drink another
Checo
beer.
was like, fuck yeah. Checo
Well,
was like,
Checo
don't-
did say, are you done yet?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Ooh.
It was like
They were like,
almost
oh,
as bad as anything else.
Yeah.
That was
He don't say much, but what he
Yeah,
said was,
but what
Are
he-
you,
man.
yeah, but are
Yeah.
you done?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like things like that. That's what makes a difference, I think, when they come from people that you find something in common with, because you can hear it from a celebrity and you can hear it from people that have a platform in that sense, but a lot of the times we don't feel that type of connection like we can do it. And that's one thing from the
agree.
very beginning when I started the podcast. I've talked about, like, you know, my infertility and the sexual abuse I suffered as a child. And I will never not talk about it, because you're right. You hold back, especially on sexual abuse in our community. And it's almost like this hush hush thing, and
And
you make the victim feel like they did something wrong.
Correct.
And they do it in order, and when you're young and you don't know any better, you feel like, well, you don't feel like, right, but you should be the one protected. But everybody else is protecting the real monster.
Right.
And it's almost like this mythical creature, because they won't say his name. You almost get shuttled about because that person, oh, God forbid we don't invite them.
Yeah.
We're going to make them feel bad. And what about his mom? Well, fuck his mom.
Yeah.
And fuck him too.
Of course.
Because you raised that piece of shit. And I'm sure along the way, and it's not to always blame the parents, but when it gets to a certain point, when it's more than one person, more than the perpetrator knew. And it's been a cover up because you don't want to mess up the image of this perfect family, or when so many kids are being hurt in the process. And
Yeah.
fuck them, right? Because God, we know we don't want to make Jose feel bad.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up.
I agree.
Yeah, that's actually, I appreciate big time for you coming out like that and talking about it, because yeah, it's, you know, people need to hear this and
Now,
realize that it's not you know, okay to do
Yeah.
that. What you're talking.
When you went ahead and talked about that, was that something that you knew you guys were going to talk about? Because, man, you caught me off guard that day. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
They had heard a podcast that I had done prior to that,
Yeah.
with family member who I hadn't really spoken to in a long time.
The blood is thicker than family
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I think it ended up being like a 2-part episode or something like that, and we got into like this really deep discussion with my cousin on how I really don't fuck with my father's side of the family too much.
Yeah.
And I think it's like another taboo thing in the Mexican family, right?
Yeah.
Family sticks together, let it stick in their water, but it's family, but like, why? You know, sometimes like the people you choose to be in your life, those are family more than your actual blood. And the messed up part is, if you look at what the saying, blood is thicker than water, people have misconstrued that so much. It actually means the opposite of what we think it means. The saying is a lot longer, and it means the total opposite. Somewhere along the way, it literally got bastardized into manipulating people to think, well, blood is thicker than water, meaning, you know, our blood, our bond should be thicker, but it's like, actually, it's in reverse, and it's actually a Wiccan saying. And I can't think about the whole thing off the top of my head, but if you look it up, it actually means the total opposite to what we've all understood it to be.
Kind of like the Star Spangled Banner in a way.
It is actually even more fucked up. Like if you see the actual quote, but yeah, it's gotten to this point where you feel like if you cut family off, you're the problem, or you know, you're doing something wrong. You know, you should stick with family. And I think sometimes it's healthy to cut people off if they don't add anything to your life. If you don't feel like you're not going to be beneficially mutual to each other, and one party's more damaging, then why contribute to that destruction?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times that's what it is. It's so toxic. People are there and they're talking about each other once somebody walks away. And what kind of family is that? So I'd rather be talked about but not be involved. Like, I won't talk about people. If I cut somebody out of my life, they're out of my life. I'm not one to, you know, estar ahí chucheteando, like, and talking shit about people, because that brings me no peace and does no good. So I don't. Once somebody's out of my life, I don't like talk shit about people. What for?
And then at what point in your life did you figure out or decide, I'm gonna stop fucking with this side of the family?
Right around the time I had my daughter.
Okay.
Right around, because you're thinking, well, how do I want to raise her? How was I raised, and what are the beautiful things of my culture, and what do I want to give her, but what do I want to shelter her from?
Right.
And as you know, she was a few months old, maybe a couple years old, up until the point that a lot of them stopped seeing her, or we stopped coming around. And it was, we talked about a lot of it during the podcast. It was just a lot of, quite frankly, it was just sick shit. My ex was still in the picture, and I said, I'm not going to talk about him again, but it was just like one of those things where I was with somebody before I got married. I mean, obviously everybody has a past, but he
Yeah.
was still in my extended family's life, where at this point I'm a married woman, I have a child, and just the moves being played right in front of me, and they were actually right in front of me, they weren't even behind my back. So I was like, why do I want to be part of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Among so many other things, they did my mom so dirty. They played my dad. I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very open, and I'm an advocate of cutting people off
And
that
then
don't serve you.
did everyone else cut them off? Like your mom don't fuck with them? and
Yeah,
all
my
that?
mom doesn't. I mean, my parents are divorced,
Yeah.
so through that divorce, they slowly but surely, yeah. And then
Yeah.
my brothers, a couple of them have relationships, but I think it's to the point now where they're adults and they're choosing who to have to specifically have relationships with.
Yeah.
And now, it's nice that I've had cousins reach out, and now that they've learned a lot of the story that they didn't know, or
And
said
some
that they
even
didn't know.
relate. I think you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
a
the
lot of
crazier
them.
part.
Yeah, they've also experienced sexual assault and abuse within the family, and then it's like a lot of us are same age, and we were talking, and then it's like you hear, oh my gosh, so and so, and I was like, dude, how does everybody know this, but nobody said anything?
Yeah.
Literally, I've been the only big mouth and now black sheep of the family.
Right.
Well, why is she talking about it? And
Eres la mala.
fuck it.
Technically, it's how people would say it.
Yeah.
I would
They
assume,
would
right?
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm doing mighty fine.
Hell yeah.
I'm doing well.
Well, props.
I don't lose
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah,
I sleep
bet
well
you
at
feel
night.
better. Yeah, you
Yeah.
feel.
I didn't
better.
want to. I didn't want to come in here to strictly, obviously, just talk about that, but I didn't want to touch it. Just so I think it was a great story, and
Thank
maybe
you.
in the future, we're not maybe we're gonna bring you back regardless, and have something along like that, because I do want to talk that topic, but I don't want to make this whole podcast just
Yeah.
about that topic.
No, I appreciate
But,
it, and I welcome talking about it. Not because it's so morbid, but because it helps people. It actually helps me every time. It's like you're
Yeah.
releasing this. You're chipping off this part of yourself that you walled off for such a long time, and it's almost like you're releasing
Yeah.
yourself every time.
Well, that's good that you see it that way, because I think that's the biggest thing amongst the community is they kind of shut down. They rather not talk about it, and
Yeah.
that's why families don't know about it, and that's why so many kids now adults are just gonna. We kind of just briefly talked about PTSD. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's in this occasion, it's just very emotional and very hurtful, because it's within the same family that you're supposed to trust and all
Yeah.
that shit, which is
They're
fucked
supposed to
up.
protect you, right?
Correct. Yeah.
That they're the ones that you're supposed to feel safe around.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's why they say like some of the most dangerous things that we put kids through were in the early, was it 80s or 90s, with the whole stranger danger. If you hear a lot of like law enforcement now talk about that as one of the biggest mistakes, because they taught children that the people that you should be afraid of are out there, like this elusive boogeyman.
Oh,
And
shit.
we didn't teach kids a lot of the times. The danger
to be
is
at
auntie,
home.
it's
Yeah.
uncle,
Yeah.
it's
the
the
majority
friend.
of times. I mean, I wouldn't know the percentages, but I know
Yeah,
it's most of the time it's someone close.
it's close. Yes,
Yeah.
and it perpetuated this idea that the danger can only ever come from outside your door.
Correct.
God forbid, like, why would you ever even think that it would be a family? Never. Family doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And that idea that there's no way. And so then what happens? When these kids are finally brave enough to say something, you don't believe them.
Right.
And then why would they ever want to say anything again? And that abuse cycle just continues
Yep.
to either, unfortunately, the statistics in abuse survivors, if they do survive, the amount that turn to drugs, homelessness because they can't deal, they can't cope, a lot of continued sexual assault.
I was gonna say that usually the victim becomes the assaulter in the future as well.
High percentage does.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's just like this trauma. Then, if you are not taught how to heal, and therapy is a big thing, and if no one teaches you, hey, it's okay, or like, you know, let's take you to talk to somebody.
Well, we're Mexican.
Yeah.
Therapists don't exist,
Yeah.
right?
Well, doctors don't even exist. You know, put some Savila, eat some Vapor Rub, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That was a good way. That
Yeah,
was a good way.
that's
to
for you,
look at it,
Diana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat some vapor rub.
Yeah, right? You know, just
Shout out.
just rub some alcohol in and you, on top, and you'll be fine.
If you're Greek, put some Windex.
Some wind.
Well, I seen that on my Greek wedding, so I don't know.
My
if it's-
big fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put some Windex on that shit.
Right? You don't go to doctors.
You're right.
You know, that's a luxury for us, and therapy is a rich people's disease, and you know, or a luxury, and so we're not good enough
Yeah.
for that.
It's one of those, es que estás de huevón. You know, if your mind is working, you don't have time to feel sad or feel fucking whatever, you know? You're just there chilling, not doing shit. Pónganse a trabajar.
Yeah.
Allá en México no teníamos tiempo para esas mamadas.
Yeah. And a lot of you are alcoholics now.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yep. I wonder why, Bart.
Sheesh, fuck
That was for you, buddy.
No,
No, I'm talking about, like, you know, our a lot
Like
of
an asshole.
like our parents, right? Like, that's how they coped. You talk about like we worked in the fields, and from the point that we woke up to the point you went to sleep, you were working, and it's like all of this unhealed trauma you never learned to deal with. Well, what's better way to cope with it than to like chug some alcohol,
Yeah.
either get violent or cry.
Yeah. Get violent usually probably for those guys.
It
though.
happens for
Yeah.
some,
Yeah.
right? And so it's just like literally this, like you say, you go from one topic to another. Like this little topic can stem into so many sources of trauma for so many people in our community.
All right. I think we got some guys coming in, right? Yeah. The rest of our
better late
staff.
than never.
Yeah, better late than never.
Fucking Samuel L.
They're all-
Gang.
Well,
What's good, Edgar?
we're gonna keep chopping it up with some more awesome subjects because I know that Paula is the episodes that I've heard, you're always shouting or talking about some good stuff that I like to talk about. So current event, we're gonna talk a little bit about Afghanistan and give me your opinion on what's going on over there, what you think of it. I don't know if you're very political or not, or
Yeah.
okay.
I
right.
like to stay
We're also
informed,
gonna talk about the China virus. Is it? Can I call it that?
bro.
I can call it that, right?
Bro,
You're gonna get canceled.
no,
Why?
You're gonna
That's
get
so
canceled,
wrong.
compa.
But it leaked from China, though, right?
but it's not the China virus.
But I came from there. It's like saying
No.
the Mexican taco.
Compa's a
It's like the
Trumper.
Mexican taco, right?
Mexican taco.
I mean, it's coming from
Oh
Mexico.
my gosh, he's being sarcastic.
I am. But we'll talk about China virus in a bit. But Afghanistan.
I do not condone those comments.
It's a family show, guys.
It's a family show. It's a family show.
How do you feel about that?
About
Afghanistan.
It's awful.
It is.
I think that the history of what's happened to that country is it's devastating. You have somebody was just mentioning it this morning, and I think the president was supposed to speak around
He did, yeah.
three or four, something like that, and I
Something.
didn't catch it. I was like on my way here, but it's just the United States is such a superpower, and unfortunately, for us to stay a superpower, so many other places get in the way, and a lot of the times we're there, and I think we are meant to help, and but like you were talking about earlier, right? You know, the almighty dollar, it speaks and it moves everything.
Oh, yeah.
And so now you have this total devastation. And somebody made a comment this morning talking about, got to get out of there. And I hope they got all of the Americans out. And, it's just, they need to stop letting those people in here. They're just a bunch of terrorists. And I was like, God damn it. Like, we're like in 2021, right?
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah, we are.
2021. We're like almost into 2022. We're like halfway. We're like
Yeah.
literally a hop, skip, and a
Three-quarters
jump
of the
away.
way there.
And it's just like, have we fucking not learned anything?
No, we haven't.
Have we not? And I was just like, I took a deep breath and I was like, you know what? Sometimes it's worth it. And for some people a certain age, it'll just never make a difference. Once you reach a certain age, if you're really not open, you don't have an open mind, that's never going to change. And that's why these things keep happening. And
Yeah.
those poor people, those people that you saw on TV literally holding on for dear life to the tires of a jetliner,
Yeah, some fell.
they're
Yeah,
not doing
couple
it
died,
because they
three.
want to come and bomb our country.
Right.
They're literally hanging on to tires in the air, knowing that the only thing that's probably going to happen is that they're going to fall to their death. And they'd rather do that to try and escape the unlivable horror that they are subjected to every day, because this place that they live
Yeah.
has been in a war. Probably that's all they've ever known.
Right.
People born into it, you know.
Yeah,
20,
yeah, yeah.
20
They're
years
people.
old. And
They
they know.
are people. Yes, there are shitty ass people that have done shitty ass things, but that's the same thing that they say about us, right? What did they say? We're nothing but rapists and drug dealers and X, Y, and Z. We, don't go to Mexico because your head's gonna get chopped off and this and that, like all of these. But yet, it really pisses me off.
Yeah, it's very frustrating, man. You know, 20 years about, I think they're saying like $2 to $4 trillion that they invested over there. But then I started thinking, like, if that's what they invested over there, how fucking much did they make? Like, dude, that's what they invested. They probably made fucking 1,000 times that, like, fácil. Like all these military, departments and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, they just left a shitload of, Humvees and weapons, and they didn't give a shit. They just left. They got up and left. And I'm not saying that it was a mistake. I've been reading all this shit yesterday and today, and some people obviously are bashing Biden. And, this is fucking when George Bush was in there, and he went in there and fucked shit up, and Obama. Look, I'm neither red nor blue, but fuck Obama, man. Like, you're disappointed. He disappointed me a lot with a lot of things that he did while in office. Granted, he's black and whatnot, and that was cool, but I expected more from him. But it's very disappointing. It is the almighty dollar,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
That's
now
what moves
now
things.
China's in there. We just had a big talk about China last week. How are you familiar with this whole North Korea?
Yeah.
What's going on there? Yeah, 2021, and we have, fucking death camps still. Like, fuck, is this like Nazi Germany time? It's the same fucking thing. It's in North Korea. It's no electricity country. Goddamn, people are picking up their own feces for a living to survive, for fertilizer. And China, who is a fucking country that's fucking supporting that regime, is now butting up with the goddamn terrorists. What's their name? The guys that are taking over right now at Kabul.
Yeah.
Okay, is
That's-
that
Al
okay?
Qaeda. Or is it,
No.
is
God
that,
damn
it's not okay. It's
No.
okay.
No, who is
Taliban.
it?
No.
The Taliban's
Taliban.
in there now.
No.
Taliban. Now they're being
Or,
buddy
yeah.
buddy with the Taliban. China
Wow.
is. I was like, are you serious? Now China's gonna go in there for another 20 years.
Yeah, but
Watch.
then what has the U.S. been doing? I mean, it's just honestly, if you start talking about it, it's a never-ending circle. You'll end up
Yeah.
at the same place because what moves, like you said, what stops and starts everything is the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
And what we can see as altruistic, and you're talking about like, Obama or what's Biden doing now, there's only so much somebody can do when they are being stopped. I mean, we have Congress, right? Congress checks and balances, which is why our country, I think that's what differentiates us, one of the things, right, in our government from other places. And that's why maybe
Right.
perhaps, we haven't fallen. We have, like when Trump was in office and as many, many horrible things were done and let go, but many more things could have happened if we didn't have, sort of those checks and balances, although some of that stuff was really hinky. And I would like 10 years in the future to look back and be like, did you just it was like a child throwing a tantrum, and did you just let him have the toy because you don't want to hear him anymore? Because
Right.
some of that stuff was like, real
Very
questionable.
sketchy. Yeah.
But for you, when you have other presidents that have obviously been political, like you have Obama, you have Biden, there's only so much you can do.
I understand that.
And you only have 4 years, 8 years, and people are stopping you. But you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, they're human and they have their own agendas because they have their own political pushes that they want to, things that they want to move and get done. And so if they do this, will Congress or whoever allow them to do this.
Right.
Or you have lobbyists pushing for different things. And so if you're not well versed in American government and politics, and you're thinking, oh, they suck. They all suck.
Yeah.
Because our
Well,
interests,
they're all puppets.
because our interests from all the way down here we're never going to feel like our interests are met. The people up here, those are the ones those are the movers and shakers, and those are the people that get people elected. That's why these last few elections have meant so much, because now you're seeing people actually, when we mobilize ourselves and when we get together, we can actually make a difference. And that's when it scares them. But before that, they don't care.
Yeah.
We don't elect presidents.
Yeah.
It's not us.
It's the 1%ers, man.
It's not us. And so why would our interests ever be anyone's concern? You have to start at the bottom. You have to start with, your local elections. And that's where you make a difference. You educate yourself and you get a seat on the local school board. If your kid's school sucks so bad, they have no funding, that's where you start. You're not out there yelling, like the presidency, of course it matters. But if you're talking about where you can exercise real change, that's where, in our communities. And then it makes a difference. But those people aren't going to do shit for us. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It's never. And even if it does, with the stimulus checks and things like that, there's always something at the end of the tunnel. Right now, people are getting that child tax credit, thinking it's free money, not knowing that there's a stipulation. Your ass has to pay that back. Yeah. It's kind of like a little advance. You got a record deal. Here's a little advance. And then like TLC, later on, you're broke. You have nothing.
Technically, correct me if I'm wrong, is that technically the money that you're getting at the end of the year anyway, and now you're just getting it in advance now?
Yeah.
So now when you file your taxes, if you're expecting, let's say, $1,200 per child, you're not going to get it because you already got it in payments or whatever?
Yes and no. A lot of them have different clauses. What if you lose your job? Or it's honestly contingent on so many factors.
Yeah.
So you might have to end up paying
something
most,
back.
if not all, back. Yeah, you never know. Or a lot of people are lying through their teeth.
Yeah.
They never even paid child support for their kids. Now they want to claim everybody left and right. You have families double claiming. There's so many shenanigans happening right now. Because you think, finally the government's doing something for us, and you're not reading the fine print, and you're going to get fucked.
Fuck yeah.
And that's what happens to us. Because they excite you about these little things, and you're not seeing the big picture.
No, you're excited. You're going to get a Gucci belt.
Yeah.
You're about to get in there.
Yeah, and luego la panza, it's going to bust the belt and fuck the resale value. That's it.
Dicen las chingonas, they're going to go get a BBL with that money
Yeah.
on today's episode.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
It's just all of those little things, and it starts with education, and we have to educate our communities and let our parents know all of these things, scams, and not signing up for every little thing, because you don't know where that's going to come bite you in the ass, down the road. You get excited and you're desperate and you think, this is really going to make a difference, or I'm going to go and play at the casino and I'll make double my money back. And then you're fucked. You have no food and no money.
Same thing with the PPP loans, I think, too.
Oh, don't even get me.
A lot of people
have you
are
been
gonna get
reading
fucked
up
with
on that stuff? What's happening right now? You have celebrities right now coming to their knees because they have been living so far above their means. They portray this image of these houses and cars and jewelry, and touring stopped, promotions, everything. Their money stopped. They weren't investing, and you could see, because now they're starting OnlyFans and applying for PPP loans, and now the government doesn't care that you sold and you've gone platinum. Your ass is going to jail.
Yeah.
If you can't pay that money back.
That's nuts, man.
Everything. And so now you have regular Joe Schmo on the street. I can do that. I can apply, right? Let me know you have a little business, make up a business, put so-and-so's address. And then the FBI was then working with local PD and leaking that shit on Facebook. Yeah. People's addresses, saying...
I saw you guys talked about that. Got shot in shit.
Dude.
Goddamn FBIs, man.
This shit is nefarious, and people just think that they're getting slick. The government's going to get you. I mean, like, no, I think I'm smart. I am not that smart. Like,
Right.
they're going to get your ass. And especially these people, like, taking pictures of, like, recording themselves. I'm spending this money with this PPP money. Like, really? Yeah.
Fucking Bart.
Fuck you.
Oh shit.
Never.
No, so
I
I
go to
just think we
work
just.
every
I remember.
Buddy.
I remember Jose called me about. Hey, what do you think about these people? Like, nah, don't get that shit. Unless you can pay that motherfucker back off, then get it. But if you don't need it, ni para qué le muevas, güey.
Yeah, even legitimate businesses, actually legitimate businesses that filed properly.
Your taxes.
If there was a
and
mistake, because people make mistakes. I mean, you have paper pushers all everywhere. If somebody's tired, enter shit the wrong way, and like people are really getting in trouble. Like even legitimate, and it's taking forever to clear up mistakes.
everything. Yeah, PPP's not the
yeah.
way to. I mean,
Not the way to go.
and yeah, you do get excited. They were handing that shit out, man. That's why. They're just like, man, just come up with a fucking. I remember I had my compa Roca. Like, hey, compa, did you hear about this? I got this guy. He's my accountant. All he needs is your name. Come up with a payroll. You're approved. I'm like, nah, something doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, what was happening with all those accountants, like back in the day, like, you know, how somebody had an accountant, everybody would go to that accountant.
Yeah.
And then their IRS 5 years later started auditing everybody. Where was that accountant? Now your ass was on the hook for that.
Él es bueno.
Yeah, sí, ve con él, nomás
con
te
él.
cobra $50 or what. Yeah.
Hey, but it's in his basement. Ahí está bien.
Yeah.
Ahí
Sabe,
él se
sabe.
concentra en su casa más.
No, you laugh, but all of these viejitos, like, you know, they would go to these people, and that's the part that you don't hear years later, because they'll take their time. It'll be 10 years, 20 years down the road, but they're going to get you. The IRS will get their money.
They're just building that file, man, that case. Be careful, guys, out there with that money.
Yeah.
Keep it in your mattress.
Oh.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
I know that you had been doing the podcasting thing. I'm gonna keep moving it. And then whenever I would shout out podcasts, you would, you know, randomly message, oh, that looks good, and you know, I gotta listen to this. What are your top 5 podcasts since you started doing podcasting that you would recommend?
That I would, well, it sucks because I love Serial. Serial was honestly one of the ones that kicked it off. But then the one with Adnan Syed.
Okay, no.
Are you so? It was one of the very first podcasts that blew up that everybody was talking about.
They made it an HBO documentary.
Yes.
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 I seen
my
the
God.
documentary.
Yes, and that went. Oh, I mean, that's just
That
gone.
blew up. That
So-
blew up. Yeah, yeah. Una
Yeah.
señora lo hizo, ¿verdad?
Yes. Well, yeah. Phoebe. I think her name was Phoebe, and then I think it was like through NPR.
Have you seen that,
And-
compa, or no?
No, I have not.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
I have to
Poor
check it
guy,
out.
It
man.
was- I mean, I don't even get me started. It's a lot. It's a lot
It's
because
a
then
lot.
you think about the thing is there's so much information out there. Period. Where now you're thinking you're like, wait, did he do
Is
it?
it poor guy? Yeah.
Yeah. At first you're like, nah, this poor high school kid, and then I don't know. It's been like 5-6 years maybe since the initial podcast. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
I
it's
never
like
listened
now,
to a podcast. Yeah.
Now you're like,
The documentary
wait
is
a
good, man.
second.
It's very
I have to
good.
check it out. What's it called?
Yeah, it's Serial.
Oh, okay.
Or
Siri.
I think it's on Netflix. The guy's name is Adnan Syed. I'll look it up. I don't remember what
it's
it's
on
called.
Netflix.
Yeah, the documentary's on.
I think it's
documentary's
on
on Netflix.
HBO when it first came out.
Was
I'm
it
not
now?
so sure.
His name was Adnan Syed. It came from Serial, the podcast. That was their
Serial
first
podcast.
season.
Yeah.
And it took her forever. It took her years and years to compile that. And that's what got me. She actually did research. I mean, they went to
She went hardcore research.
the
on it.
town
Yeah.
where it happened, and they took a timer. How long would it take at the point where school would let out, and there's that real time traffic from here to the library to the train station to the park where they found her, and where did he say he was, and where was the last phone call, and they maps and measurements and just the whole deal,
Yeah. That's a good one.
everything. And I mean that type of like research and genuine interest in something, and then you think, well, I wonder if there's something there, like, why this case, what was it about? And it was like honestly a case that gripped the whole country. Everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one. The second season, unfortunately, it wasn't that good. It was about a soldier and that something happened. I mean, he got caught, and I don't know. It wasn't as compelling. It was an unfortunate story, but not as compelling. But definitely Joe Rogan. I think that's one of those people that makes you think.
Yeah.
And his podcasts are like 2-3 hours long.
Yeah.
But they're so worth it because honestly, it's like food for your brain. It makes you think, and even if you don't agree with him, and I definitely don't, in every podcast, but
Right.
it gives you like one of the things that they say, right? Like if you're the smartest person in the room,
In the wrong room.
then you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
And I like to be somewhere where somebody's challenging my preconceived notions, my thoughts, my ideas, because there's always something to learn from somebody else, even if it's somebody that doesn't agree with you.
Correct.
Because there's a reason, right? Well, what's their line of thinking that they don't think the same way? They have other information. What's that information?
Yeah.
And information is always good information. I mean, you could always do your research and, okay, this is bullshit and this doesn't align with what I think, and that you're free to think that. But it's always extra knowledge, and that's like definitely one of my top ones. There's another one. Her name is the podcast is called Tea Time Unfiltered, and it's this woman. She lives in Minnesota. And when everything started going down with George Floyd, she was
Okay.
one of the first people. She was out there, and she's a black woman. And the reason I say that is because she goes hard for facts. And she's like, not just because I'm black or a minority or I'm a woman, am I going to automatically, give props when somebody fucks up, even if they're black, even if they're Latino. And she will go hard, and she will call people out, and is one of those people that as soon as a news story breaks, you know how everybody rushes
Yeah.
to cover the story because they
wanna
want to
be
be
the
first,
first. Yeah.
and they give you the wrong information, and a lot of people retract. Some people retract, most don't. And then what happens is now you have all these fools out there walking around repeating
The fake news.
the fake news, and that's
yeah.
where we get that from. And so she will always take her time and really cover a subject and go in depth, like from what's happening in Haiti right now.
Yeah, that was crazy too.
Yeah, to just like any case. I mean, she does a lot of celebrity news coverage, which I follow that a lot, and that's a big part of what I do as
Yeah.
well. But also just like any type of case, Dr. Dre, for example, what's happening with him and his daughter recently. That was out in the news, but also all of these different police brutality cases, and right now what's happening with the pandemic and this third, fourth wave that we're experiencing, and with the shots and how a lot of places are giving fake saline shots to people.
Yeah.
It's just honestly information from the beginning. She was one of the first people to start reporting on the pandemic and telling people like, hey, start paying attention, take care of yourselves, get some provisions. And people were like, oh, that's stupid. That's not true. That's never going to happen. And, start trying to grow your own food. And what's happening in Texas, the frost that happened in Texas. What was it? When
When the power went out.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they had like that crazy like winter storm and all of those crops. How that's going to end up affecting us soon, because we get a lot of our crops from Texas. And so if they lost all of those crops,
harvest,
there's
yeah.
So at some point that's going to hit us, and that's going to affect us. The price of meat right now, what's happening, the shortage, restaurants can't get chicken to save their life. We're even having a shortage on ketchup. Sounds stupid, but when you're down like on ketchup, like what else is down
Yeah.
next? Like, that sounds really.
Stop buying
Stop
that
buying-
Costco chicken too. I just seen a documentary on then poor chickens are all fucked up because they were like, how does Costco keep their chicken at $5? And they always said, oh, because we make it up with all the other products, and that's lies. I just seen this. I forgot what the documentary was. I forgot. Costco. Look up
Costco
Costco
chicken.
chicken.
Bullshit.
Why it's $5, but they're like fucking all fucked up, man. Poor chickens. They're so fat. They just lay on their back because they can't even walk, and then ahí están, and they're just on their back, se despluman, and they're like all fucked up. So those are the Costco $5 chickens. So stop.
Yeah.
How? I don't know if I seen it on BuzzFeed, but I mean, I'm sure BuzzFeed might have talked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I mean
and
it's all kind of stuff.
When we
like
had
that.
Scotty Munoz from Todonilco, he kind of explained the price of meat.
Yeah.
Like from that
why
to the
is it
fuel,
yeah.
fuel going up, the guy transporting it from the fucking to the slaughterhouse to the to the restaurants, He talked about that. He talked about, the vegetables,
Yeah.
everything. The bread from the tortas, how it went up 50%. I mean, he just broke it down for people that were giving him shit for the tacos being $4 a taco kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, all of
Yeah.
that.
No, all of that. It's a trickle down effect. And, if you have sometimes, all people could afford is to buy tacos for dinner because groceries are too expensive. Like
Yeah.
literally buying groceries, vegetables, fruits, it's really expensive. It's always been expensive, which is why, right, a lot of our community, it's like overweight because fast food is a lot of the times the quickest, cheapest thing that you can get. And when you're looking at the price of a taco be $4, you're like, the hell?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Well,
No, it's all of it. And eventually, right now, certain people, certain communities are starting to feel it.
Yeah.
It's going to keep happening. We haven't recovered. I mean, you think about,
no.
we're in 2021. Did you think in 2020 that this was going to go on this long? They said by June we'll be done. Okay, by August, never mind, by September. And then, okay, with 2021, maybe 2022, we're clear. They're talking about possibly shutting down again.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
Yeah. And
This
then
is months after 1 month after Lollapalooza. The dollar. We just talked about the dollar being king.
yeah.
I
That's why I have a lot of issues, man. I do have a lot of issues when it comes to shit like that. Just because, look, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I got my vaccines, and the more and more time passes, the more and more I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what really is going on now?
Yeah.
When I said China virus, I'm obviously being a fucking sarcastic guy, but it did leak from over there. Everything's pointing to it's like a 98% chance it leaked from there, according to Brett Weinstein. And it's just like, what's going on? Why the cover up with that? Like there's more to it. The Fauci emails. Like what really is going on with all that stuff?
There's always something more, right? And that they think that if a large number of people knew the same information at the same time, like what would happen? So it's like one of those things where you filter a little bit of information. Like what was that one ridiculous thing that came out? Not recently, but within the last year about the UFOs and how very casually
Don't
they
talk
actually
about UFOs with me.
No, but I'm saying, right,
My
that's one of
favorite
those
subject.
big mysteries that they've always said, like, oh, you guys are like dumb, that's not true, it doesn't exist, blah blah blah. And then casually in this tweet or email or something, right, it was almost like they confirmed.
Well, they confirmed
the
that New York Times 2017. They did a big article.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's like they're telling it's like
They give you
what's
bits and
happening over
pieces.
here, so you won't look over here.
Yeah.
And like one of those things that you've had blockbuster movies about, and all of this investigation, and people, going to
And all the cover-ups, really.
all of these things
Yeah.
because they're telling you, this isn't real. But now you're having, well, maybe it was.
Yeah.
And so now we have this other stuff
definitely
happening,
was.
and you're thinking, well, why are there so many variants? Where did it really come from? Is this vaccine really protect? And it's just like, you kind of just hold your hand to God and you cross your fingers and you just say a little prayer and you hope because what else
man.
can you do
Look
right
at
now?
this guy.
I don't know about that one, though, Paula.
Which
about that
part? Which part?
The God part.
I mean,
mean-
hey, you do what you have to.
Yeah.
You dance in a circle and you you do whatever you need to do.
I'm just saying.
You do
we
whatever.
found a way.
That's the thing. That's like right now, everybody's
Somebody's like,
basically
"Come on, dude."
doing what they need to do. Like at the beginning,
Yeah.
at least for the first solid year, I didn't leave my house.
Same.
For anything, and people like would make fun of me, and I even in the podcast, I wouldn't. No one was coming in my house. The only reason I would leave was to go grocery shopping, and then when I started back at work, and I work around like at a school, so I was being very careful, and my child was at home, and then my husband was at home, and so we were very careful. We were bringing the bags in and wiping down the
Washing
bags
it,
and
yeah.
wiping the surfaces, and
It was scary
the
times, man.
clothes that you went out with, like they didn't make it into the house. It was like this whole thing, and then
Let's
you kind
burn
of
them. Let's burn the fucking clothes.
clothes are
Is
expensive.
that what you did? Go
Let's
buy
buy
your
the
birthday
$4.99
clothes?
perfume and fucking put that shit on there.
Yes.
It
Clothes
kills
are
the variant.
expensive. We're not
It
burning
kills-
anything. It's not good for the environment. No, no, but yeah, you have all of these things, and then you kind of start to ease up, and then it's like, oh, we'll get scared again, and then you started to ease up. Oh, red alert, and so
Yeah.
you just. And I got to the point where, like, dude, and I can't even talk shit about the people at Lollapalooza. I just came from Disneyland.
There you go.
And and I was literally, I had to stick up my ass
But
with
you were
this
in
whole thing the whole
California.
time.
California is fucking like worse than Chicago, I think,
I
right?
know.
Yeah, California's bad.
Yeah.
But
How
it
was
was
that
like
even
this
open?
thing. I think they're like 2.3 seconds away. They have like two business days before they close. I think.
Yeah, I
It's
bet.
not.
Yeah,
It's not
California's all
great.
fucked up over there.
It's
so.
not great. But it was one of those things where like shit. Like we literally did not leave the house for nothing other than grocery shopping and for me to go to work.
Yeah.
And I was like, my kid had just graduated. She's about to start high school. My husband travels like a lot. Like his travel is probably about to pick up, like depending on what's happening again.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I want to do a little something like to support my kid and just do something together. We hadn't traveled in years, mostly because of like my husband's schedule and my schedule and her, our schedule is just really complicated. And then we had bought our tickets, and I was kind of like, no, I can't leave work. But I was doing, fuck it, let's go. And then we go, and literally a day before, 2 days before, that's when the whole mask mandate came back. We're like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this. But I was like, fuck it.
Fuck it,
I'm a
we got
rebel.
we got our
Let's
vaccine
go.
passports.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, pretty soon, right? I don't know. I was
That's
like,
crazy too, man. Though to me, that's just I don't know, man. See, that's where for me it gets very, very. The line is very thin, man. Like, vaccine passports. Restaurants having to. Well, you have to have a vaccine. That's a lot of Mexicans that work the restaurant business, and the brown and the black community are the communities that are least vaccinated, and that could be for our ignorance, whatever you want to call it, right? Our laziness of just not wanting to. We don't even go to the doctor, like how you
Yeah.
said it earlier.
actually, though, our communities have been stepping up. If you look at the numbers,
Yeah,
it's not really our communities.
is it the primos?
It's the opposite.
Is it
No,
the primos?
it's the güeritos, man.
Uh,
You have certain
those red
countries.
guys,
If you look
man.
at the
are
numbers,
you looking at the?
So-
Are you looking at the
Whose
south?
numbers are you looking at?
yeah.
Are you looking at
So
the South
if you
numbers?
okay, so unfortunately, if you look at the numbers and we look at it, they're propagating that it's our communities, and
Yeah.
again, it puts this fear and it puts like this finger that has always been pointing at us, like be mad at them. It's them. They're the ones that don't want to do it. When this time around, it is not actually us.
Yeah.
You're really looking at the numbers. It isn't us, but it helps spread the narrative
That
if
it's
it is us, yes, because then you have this idea that being mad at our communities and us being at fault, that's where it always lands and that's where it lies. And okay, that fits the profile. That's okay. Well, if they want to die, let them die. When honestly, it's not us. Large number of the people that are not vaccinated are well-to-do. They have the means, they have the opportunity, they have the information and the resources
They just
at
choose
their
not to.
fingertips. They just choose not to. For whatever reason, and everybody, that's why we live in this country, because you have the ability to make those types of choices. But it is the narrative is being spun that it is our communities, and it is, and for the percentage that it is, it's still access. They don't have vehicles, even though they are trying to like have Uber. At one point, they were trying to have like Ubers
Oh shit.
and things like that for people to take them to vaccination sites. But it's fear. It's a lot of our communities that are undocumented that are still afraid. And so in those instances, you look at what the story is and it makes sense. But in large majority, it's not us.
I hope it's
It
not.
is not us.
Because the people that are gonna, if it is, I think obviously will be very affected by not being able to travel and not being able to
Yeah.
go to work. I hope that it's not. But
Yeah.
that's a tough one for me. That's where I stand with that. But I mean, I'm vaccinated. I feel fine. It just fucked up my shoulder. Like
Your shoulder?
now I can't lift my right arm.
You're playing.
fuck.
Like I'm
up.
off. No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm like it fucked up my cartilage or some shit. Like
I don't know.
I don't know
I
what it
didn't
is.
vax, way.
You're not vaxxed?
No,
Wow.
Hell no. I'm not.
Well,
God, who let this
somebody
guy
didn't
in?
tell me to put my
Oh,
mask
yeah.
on.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, dude, I was around. My whole thought process was that I was around a bunch of people that caught the virus, and I
Oh my
didn't.
god. Here goes this logic.
And
then what?
I got vaccinated all those times, or tested all those times. Like it was like 4 different times. When I went back to work, because I was off work for a bit when I broke my shit. From a 20-man crew or a 15-man crew, 3 people were left that didn't get
You were one
get
of
the
them.
virus, and I was one of them. My mom got the virus. She came into town. She lives out of town, and we saw her, and she was sick. coughing all over us, but we went to go say hi to her, Like I hadn't seen my mom, so I went to go say hi to her. Again, got tested, nothing. It was like 4 instances, and I was never positive.
But there
I
are a
never
lot of
got
false
sick.
positives too, though,
I never got
Yeah,
sick.
there was a lot of false positives.
or false negatives.
False negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just
And
so
false
much that
positives.
we still don't know. Like you could have been tested one day, but then
Yeah.
had it the next. I mean, just literally with the way that this is working, it's just really bizarre. Some people are just really lucky. Some people get sick and they're totally fine. Other people are
Dying.
gotten sick and dying, or
Yeah.
they have shunts in their brain now. Their heart is totally messed up. You had that young boy in was it possibly Texas? I can't remember. He was like a super athlete. He had like played through broken shoulders and like this amazing high school football player. He's literally fighting for his life
Okay.
right now. So
Well,
you literally never know, because at first they were saying, "Oh, kids can't get it. Kids are safe. Teens are good," and then we started seeing 30-year-olds have
Yeah.
failing hearts and all. We unfortunately don't know enough yet, and I mean everybody can make their own choice, but if you can do whatever you can do to protect yourself, I mean it's something worth looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary. Even for whoever has kids, because they're saying the teenagers, if they get it, they found like this irregular heartbeat now, or enlarged heart or something like that. So now you're like, well, what the fuck should I do? Should I give my kid a goddamn vaccine or should I not? Like you're just stuck in the middle, I think, when it comes to that. But damn, compa, you just go get it, man. Go get the
Seriously.
Johnson and Johnson.
That's a good
Fuck
one.
Yeah, don't get the Johnson and Johnson.
See, they're all
Why
fucked
not?
up. That's why they're fucked up. I'm straight.
Stop. You don't want to be. You don't have the 5G in you.
We're not
The
that
5G
important,
there.
man.
Yeah.
We are literally not that
We're
important.
goddamn ants.
We
We're
are not
ants.
that. They won't put microchips in soldiers overseas, and to figure out, where
Yeah.
everybody's at. We're literally not that important.
Yeah.
Like they're like
I don't
like
believe the
everybody says they're in
microchip
our
thing.
phone.
I just don't.
You take our phone everywhere.
Oh yeah. I mean, I believe all that.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
but
have Siri or
I don't.
not Siri,
no,
Alexa
the
in your
microchip.
house.
That's not something I believe.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe that shit at all. I don't know.
You don't trust it. You just don't want to get it.
I just don't want to get it. I don't
All
know.
right, man.
Funny enough, though, the microchip, there is testing for stuff. I mean, that's like a whole other thing for to put your credit card or to open door. Like that's a whole other phase. It's actually
Like
a thing.
that's-
Yes,
that's true,
You could
yeah.
there's actually one that you could implant yourself.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't believe the government's trying to put a.
I
microchip
mean,
in us. Like,
at some point, I wouldn't doubt it, but right now, that's not what it is.
What's
Like
Neuralink? That's what my boy Bart wants. He wants to volunteer to be Elon Musk, fucking Neuralink, and have the phone into his fucking brain. And
I'm good.
you no longer are gonna speak. You're just gonna talk to me with fucking thoughts.
Telepathy.
Yeah.
Pero no quiere la vaccine.
Pero no quiere la vaccine.
Yeah, pasando.
And then
Yeah.
you're also like a big movie aficionado,
I love
aficionada,
movies.
or whatever it is. But you love movies.
Yes.
Give me
I
your
love
top 3 movies because I know you talk movies a lot too.
Oh my gosh! Like sometimes I think the worse the movie it is, the better. Like I love shitty
Oh, you-
movies.
okay.
Yes, I mean there's obviously some good movies. I mean we're talking about like Godfather, Scarface. There's like some really really good like God, what is it called? Citizen Kane.
Okay.
There's some movies that really make you think. Casablanca. I like the old.
The black and white Casablanca?
Yes, the black
Yeah.
and white Casablanca. Just like old movies, I really really like because you get to see the actual artistry. Where a lot of it now you see like the big action and the CGI, and
Yeah.
before you are actually looking at
The
story
acting, yeah.
and the
plot.
acting. Yes, and I love that era. But yeah, no, sometimes like really shitty, crappy movies. The worse, the better they are.
Oh,
Horror movies those are like I could talk about horror movies.
Oh, really?
Can't do
Suspense
horror
thrillers
movies.
all day.
You don't like horror?
All of
No,
them.
You
I'm a
can't do
pussy.
'em?
I'm a pussy.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I love horror.
I'll watch them
So
in the
what's a good one
dark
for
by
you?
myself.
Horror movie.
Omen, the original Omen.
Yeah.
The Exorcist. I
Those
like,
old
but
ones, you feel like they're kind of fucking cheesy though. Like,
But again, it's about the story because it's where those concepts that you have now,
Yeah.
that's where they originated.
Yeah.
And so like that's where the real idea came from. And when you're talking about, and I'm talking about Omen with Damien. I believe it was Omen 2.
okay.
And you're talking about this, the most pure thing on this earth, right? Which is a child.
Yeah.
And then you're transposing it, and it's like literally the son of the devil, if not like the devil incarnate. And then you're like, that's fucked up.
Nice.
That's scary.
Exorcist?
Omen.
No, I'm saying, but you also like The
Oh,
Exorcist?
The Exorcist, yes. But like one thing I just don't fuck with is movies with El Chamuco. Those do scare me because that you never know. Like,
What do you mean?
Talk
What's
about
a
like,
chamuco though?
huh?
What's a chamuco?
Like the devil, bro. You know
Oh,
Chamuco?
oh,
El
okay.
Chamuco,
Okay.
like
Because there's this
I can't
No,
even say the
because-
name. That's the one thing I would be like, yeah.
there's this great HBO series. God damn it, The Detectives. You guys ever catch that? Un Moreno and really famous. Was it Ethan Hawke? They're detectives and they're the guy is a chamuco. It's an actual chamuco, like it's a spirit. Is the killer? I forget what the name is. I'll put you
No.
guys on, but I think the ones with the devil are the good ones, right?
Well, there are some, but there's just like some stuff that like literally pushes the limit, and it's just like when you have like some people literally doing exorcisms, and there's just some stuff like that. Like you're watching something, and I memorize dialogue. Like I can sit there and give you full on like dialogue from a full movie, but someone like that, I'm like, don't remember that, don't remember that, don't remember that. And
Like The Exorcist of Emily Rose. Like, do you like all of those too?
all
or
of
no?
those, like there's this one. It's called Insidious. If you ever watch those,
yeah, that's one of the.
I was about to say that was the last one I watched, and that motherfucker scared the
Yes.
fuck out of me, bro. I think that's literally the last scary movie that I watched. That was fucking good.
yeah, Insidious. I mean, I think there's 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know
The
1 and 2
yeah.
are really
Yeah, there's
good.
a few,
I know
but
the
I mean,
first-
they're usually like the more you get, they start to like kind of
Yes.
suck.
Yeah.
No,
No,
these
the
are
first one was the one that I watched, and I know it was really good. I think ever since then I was not able to watch.
It's a
another
little
scary
freaky,
movie.
man.
they
That
are
one
good
was
because it's like
fucking
I like
freaky.
Sinister.
yes,
That one's great, man. Sinister's really
I don't
good.
know if I've seen that.
No, dude, I love scary movies, man. And then also, aparte del chamuco, I like the suspense, man. There's this one called The Others.
yes,
Not the
Others
one
is-
with Nicole Kidman, but the
Oh.
one where they're in a house.
because that's the original one, the one
Yeah.
with Nicole Kidman.
There's another one where they're in
Okay.
a house. It's based off a true story. And they go and they knock on the door and they have like a mask on.
Oh
they're like,
yes,
"Hey,
yes.
Is Emily home? And the fucking light está fundida. And then they just, oh man, it's a great
With
movie.
the pig masks or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I
that
haven't
those are
ever
some of
watched
the
that.
other ones that I'm like, because I'm by myself a lot of the
Right.
times, and that's like that real, like that merging of horror with real life, because it could actually happen. We're
Yeah.
not talking about witches and warlocks. We're talking about some psycho coming to your door,
And
which
freaking
is
you out. Yeah.
yeah.
man.
Yeah, and then that one's just like, oh yes, I'll love
I like
that.
all those. I like the suspense of it. It gets you, it keeps you on your toes at least.
Yeah.
And with the Chamuco ones, man. I love all of them. Anything that has to do involved with the priest, fucking fighting
There
the
are
devil.
some. There are some like the Nun. That one was pretty good.
Did you like that?
I just watched it, and it's only more than anything because I watched. So it's part of the whole series of not it's like the Amityville horror, but the Annabelle story and all of those. So a
Yeah.
lot of those have versions of things that really happened with
Right.
Emily and what was her husband's name? Something Warren. The
Yeah,
Warrens.
yeah. They
And
just
so
did the newer
yeah,
The
and I watched it.
Conjuring.
Yes, The Conjuring. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Conjuring
it
series.
was a great one.
Yeah.
This last one was great.
But all of that, if you think about it, there are things that, I mean, a lot of it has been greatly embellished for the movies, but these people actually existed. There's books. I actually have somebody that I was trying to get an interview with, hoping I'm not shooting myself in the foot, with when the Warrens passed. So
Okay.
now this person has all of that stuff.
Stop.
So I was going to fly to Salem in October to interview.
Salem.
And so I was talking
Another
to my
crazy
husband.
fucking story.
I was talking to my husband. I was like, so do I go to the place or do we meet at a coffee shop? And he's like, estás bien pendeja.
Yeah, you got to meet at a coffee shop, man.
I was like, because, right, the thing they tell you is like, don't touch this shit. Like, don't go near the stuff and all of this. I mean, and part of me is like, you want to, I mean, how could I not like this stuff? And if I didn't sort of kind of believe,
yeah.
but then I was like, dude, like, I'm going to come home with some shit attached to me. So
Well, it's like
probably
these
didn't
guys. ¿Cómo se llaman esos guys that would do the reality?
the ghost hunters
The
and
Ghost Hunters. Did you read about that guy Zach? Ghost Adventures. That guy Zach ended up buying the Devil's House in East Chicago, Indiana.
the bunk with the bunker or something in it.
I don't know if it had a bunker. No, this was like an abandoned house, literally.
Okay.
And everyone that set foot in there was dying.
Shut
Like
up.
something was happening to them. Like the police officer was like fucking puking like for a
Yeah.
week straight, and people were
In
like getting
Indiana, no,
fucked.
wasn't it in the
Yeah,
house
East
in Indiana?
Chicago,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
East
Okay,
Chicago,
yes,
Indiana.
yes,
It was
yes.
right around the corner from here, technically, and there's a documentary on that. I think
Mhm,
it's called The
mhm.
Devil's House. If I might be wrong, but it's with that guy Zach from Ghost Adventures, and I started watching that, and then the guy that used to do Ghost Adventures with him, El Pelon, he ended up retiring, like because a demon followed his ass to his family, to his home, and started fucking with him, and he's just like, you know what, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
But all of that intrigues me too. Like I had told these guys like I'm down. Like I'm a guy that I'm gonna get scared, but I'm down if you're like, hey, let's go to the cemetery. It's like me and my compadre Friday when we were in
for
high
shit,
school,
fuck.
John F. Kennedy,
Yeah,
we would go and
dude.
we would go to like Monk's Castle. That's on the Grange.
Yes,
Yeah.
I never went there. My brother and cousins always went there, and they would take their dates there.
Yeah, awesome.
That's what you did, right? So then they would drive up, and you know how supposedly, what the story of Monk. I don't know what you know of Monk's Castle.
It was a while ago, but yeah.
Well, supposedly, right, that if the monks see you, they chop off your hand, like if they catch you after they close the gate.
Yeah, and then they cut your knees and they make you fucking kneel in salt and
All of
like,
this stuff, right?
crazy shit.
And you're supposed to run from the gates to the top of the mound, and there's a rock that you're supposed to touch. So estos mensos, they would take their girlfriends or dates or whoever they were hooking up with, they would park down the forest, turn their lights off, and then walk the rest of the way. They would walk in before the gates would close, run up to the thing, and as soon as a light would come on or the gates would start to close, these assholes would take off and leave these broads behind.
Wow.
Yeah.
And would they get caught?
I mean, they never got, at least, I mean, they all have their kneecaps and
Yeah.
their hands. So I think they're fine. But I do remember those stories, and they never wanted to take us. And that was like the one I actually never went to. But I've gone to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
Okay.
That one has like crazy big lore to it. A lot of Chicago's old gangsters are supposed to be buried up there.
Okay.
I've actually gone to a forest walk where I can't remember what the history
Damn, so
was.
you've done stuff like that already.
Yeah, but I took my daughter with me.
Oh,
I really wanted
when
to
she
go.
was 11.
And I
come
didn't
on,
have a
Paula.
babysitter. But so we went, and then they give you these rods. They're called spirit sticks or divining rods or something. They're like these copper poles in the shape of like a, I don't know, like an L, and you hold like the shorter end. Yeah, and they cross over. So as you're walking through a place that's supposed to be haunted, you're like asking, if people are there, like cross for yes, whatever.
Jose,
for
bring
no.
the goddamn agua bendita, man, because
Yeah, you
Paula's
guys are
already
scaring
got the
fuck
goddamn-
out
Dude.
of me. I don't know
Is
why
that
I
what
get
this is?
scared easy. That's what that is, not handsome.
Yeah.
have you been to
so-
like Resurrection Cemetery?
I've been to Resurrection Cemetery.
we did
I
that one
actually,
too.
in high school for the paper,
Yeah.
a friend and I went to go interview the director, and then we get there because, of course, that's what we were there to ask.
They
And
replaced the
And then he said, "Don't even go there."
What?
So that he didn't. I mean, of course. I mean, we're like, "This is great." Like we did the interview. I was like, "One last question," and he's like, "Nope." I was like,
That's
"Oh,
fucked up.
damn you!" I was like, "There goes my article."
They replaced the gate supposedly estaba medio abierto porque un
Yeah.
espíritu or whatever. And you can tell that it was open. We were bad though, man. Like it was like
Yeah.
the bars, the iron gate was kind of like circular. Se veía
like,
que-
Pride
like
open.
bent in and
Pride
wide
bent,
open.
yeah.
But when we were seniors, but we didn't give a shit. We would go in the middle of the night. For anybody that's listening out there in Resurrection, and we would actually like piss on it. Like fucking, my compadre will park his Bronco and just, all right, we gotta go to, and we'll piss on the bars like that. Tu pinche espíritu este pa la chica. We didn't care, but we were very It was an adrenaline rush. We went to this
Yeah.
other place called the Devil's House up in the Grange as well.
Okay, that
I think
haven't
they
been.
fixed that up like purposely. Like there was a big front lawn, and there was like crosses upside down. Like
Yeah.
all of that shit intrigues me, man. Like I'm like, all right, let's go in that fucking house. And we made it up to
I've
we
never
made it up the steps.
I've never experienced something crazy like that, but I do have a cousin way who she's had a lot of encounters with like
Yeah.
different like they first of all they lived in a house in Plano that shit was haunted because all three of like there's my cousin and her two brothers, they would see shit, bro, or
Yeah.
hear shit and feel shit. My cousins would feel they said they would hear like chains and then they
Mm.
would feel something sit down next to you know when you're in bed and someone sits down
Yeah.
on the other side of the bed you feel it they
Yeah,
would
yeah.
feel that they
Pepe.
she also has another crazy story way that they it was her and another cousin way which is crazy because they both can attest to it way that they were just let's go to the cemetery and they're riding their bike to the cemetery saw some old man had it I guess they said they even remember that the music was on and you know they stopped and talked to him and oh my wife died blah 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 they're talking for a while next thing you know it starts raining and they're like the guy's still talking to them and then they're like oh shit so who's this and when they asked that they turned around and the guy was gone
Awesome.
he was it was
I wish I
him.
was there.
Yes, wait. She would tell us about this, and I'd be like, "Shut the fuck up, get away from me." I think, yeah, esa way trae algo. I don't know, but
Yeah. No,
It-
there's some people that are definitely more sensitive to certain things.
Oh
like
yeah.
I've had maybe one or two, and sometimes I question it because I think like, oh, we went to Salem once, and there's this old, the few bricks of the foundation of where Parrish's house used to be. I believe he was the hanging judge, one of the judges that was the one that perpetuated a lot of the hangings.
Yeah.
And it's in this overgrown forest. And so my daughter was sleeping, my husband's driving the car, and I really wanted to go. And so I just hopped off of the car and he's like, all right, I'll do a couple loops. The baby was sleeping. And I was like, I'll go by myself.
In the middle
so
of the
I voy de
night?
pendeja. It was in the afternoon. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I
I'm like,
me
holy
metí.
shit.
Yeah, no, it wasn't
Imagine in
dark.
the night? Wow.
So I went into this forest and I was looking for signage or because I'm sure, they're like historical landmarks. So they
Right.
tell you where it is. And I'm like trying to get through and trying to find it. Took me a while. Finally, literally the stuff like the shrubs are overgrown. Like you're kind of crouching down to get through like bushes to get to the
Holy
thing. And so I get there and I'm reading the placards and I don't know if it was my head or psyching myself out. I felt like everything kind of spinning and then I was like, all right, it's probably time to leave. So I looked back on the way that I got there and that it wasn't there anymore.
What?
And I'm like, okay, all right,
Did
calm
you freak
down.
out? At
For a
that- at that
second,
instant?
and then I started just going around, like going the thing. I was like, all right, it started here, and then I went here, and I was reading here, and so I went out, and I was like trying to call him, and there was no reception. I mean, which was understandable.
Como las películas, man. Fuck.
And I was like, I literally felt like, all right, where's the sun? So I saw the sun. It was still daylight out, and the trees were there. But I was like, all right, there has to be a way to get out of here. And then I started hearing voices. And then
What?
I saw another like group of people coming in, and then I saw the exit, and I was like, that wasn't there a second ago, and I was like, yep, peace out, you guys have fun. I will see my way out of here.
Man,
And I
Blair
got
Witch
my
Project
happy ass.
all over again right there.
Got my happy
Your
ass out of
Paula
there.
was shaking.
Not quite there yet. If it would have been nighttime, I mean, I've gotten myself into some. I've literally driven my brothers and sisters and friends like 4 hours out of the city to go to a good haunted house.
Nice.
Like, I will hunt.
You know what? That's weird. I will not do haunted houses though,
I will.
because I just feel like you're expecting to get scared at a haunted house.
I don't do
The
haunted
good
houses
ones
at
don't do
all.
that. Like some, you kind of are, but you have like the chills because you know nothing's
Like
coming for a while,
okay.
All
and the
that.
place is kind of like pretty, like it's decorated pretty well. Where you think something and nothing for a while, and then it comes and it's like I've had
Shit.
some where there's this like inflatable material and you don't expect it, and you're kind of going through it, so you feel claustrophobic.
Okay.
It's like almost like you're going through like a double bounty house and you're
Yeah.
squeezing yourself
Yeah.
through.
Wow, that's
And then my husband in one time, I guess he got through, they separated us. Sometimes they separate you and they put us through different coffins and we went in through. And so he got out the end. So he crouched down and he's like grabbing feet. And so I was like, okay, that one scared me a little bit. And then you exit and all of you see is nothing but strobe lights and chain link fences.
Wow.
It's like a maze of a chain link fence, and that's all it is with a bunch of strobe lights. Literally, who was there? Nothing. You're freaking yourself out, and there's other people trying to get through the maze, and you're freaking yourself out.
And then aliens, yay or nay?
I mean, it depends on what mood you catch me. Sometimes, no, who knows? I mean, am I completely naive to think that we're the only people, the only living, breathing?
We're
Well, that's not naive, though. You
We're
think it's
not.
naive?
Nope. To think that we could possibly be the only things on this huge universe. I don't know. I think it's a little naive to think
think
that
so?
we're like that special. That on this little speck of dust that is Earth, that we're literally all that's it.
All right.
I mean, I don't know.
We're not.
But I've never
I
really
just
been into
started
sci-fi.
I just started watching this. I think it's called UFO. It's by J.J. Abrams, and it's pretty good.
Oh,
What's
on
that? They
Showtime.
yeah, on Showtime.
Oh, it's awesome.
Because I mean, they even talk about how in the 50s and 60s, like it was already known.
in the
it was
40s,
already
bro.
known.
This is
Like there was
old-
multiple
Bro, even
sightings,
before that.
and like they were in the paper, and like
They're in the
this-
goddamn Catholic drawings, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I saw something in Mexico. I saw something.
There
I
you
don't know what
go.
it was. It's
There
just
you
a
go.
big bright light, and o sea, my rancho is at the bottom of a cerro, and we saw a big bright light just land there, and they saw it in other ranchos around. No noise at all. No noise at all.
Man, you're special, man. I've never seen anything.
You
I
know?
want to see
And-
something.
That's the
and
thing. That's the thing. You
multiple
like rather
times.
see UFOs.
I don't.
I
I
don't-
want to see. Something.
I don't know if you guys ever
I believe in 'em.
heard of this
Yeah.
place. It's called it's called La Zona del Silencio. It's in Mapimi, and you can YouTube it, the Mapimi Silent Zone, and literally it's like the first video that comes up. We went to that place because it's supposed to be like whatever UFOs. Supposedly your radio's supposed to shut off and stuff like that.
Okay.
That didn't happen, but exactly like it's saying in the YouTube video, it did start raining out of nowhere, and we got stuck. It stopped raining, and we got stuck in the mud. But in that YouTube video, it talks about how there's multiple reports of They say it's three tall subjects, and they're like wearing like really weird clothes, but they come and help the people that get stuck out. Like nobody came and helped us out, but there was a big rainstorm, and we did get stuck. So that was
Damn it.
crazy.
Two out of three.
That was 2 out of 3.
2 out of
yeah.
3.
So
Fuckers didn't want to help you.
there's definitely something out there.
Well,
think.
they say, right, like all the pyramids and all of the structures
yeah,
in,
come on, bro,
in
like
Mexico and in Egypt, like that, they're like,
that-
how did they actually come? I mean, like the human brain is an amazing thing, and to be able to structurally put together things like we've done a lot more with a lot less, but like to think about the idea that maybe
They're out there, man.
They're out there.
I believe they're out there.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get committed when I get out of here.
Well, we do want to thank you for coming out. It's not going to be the last time that we're going to invite everyone.
Yeah,
And maybe we'll have
for
a
sure.
big ass one with
That's what
everyone
that's
here.
the same thing
That's
I was
something that
thinking. I think we have to get the whole.
Yeah.
pod-
We got
pod
to
in
exchange
here.
numbers so they can at least
sure.
include Bart in the group
In the
chat.
group chat. But if you don't
Oh, you guys
reply,
will
you'll
be
get
mad at
kicked
me.
out.
Hell yeah, I don't reply. You look at my phone right
You're
now.
going to get flagged.
Mad motherfucking.
Compa Noe
mad.
knows now. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, what's up? Hi.
No.
He'll send a happy face or
I
haha.
don't reply.
We're like, all right, he
React
checked
to the
in.
message at least.
Yeah.
No,
I
but
feel
Check
bad,
in.
like my family way, and sometimes I go on there, but my family's daily, like, and it's like, I don't know how many of us are in that group message. It got to be at least 40 of us.
oh
Y-
my
Y
God.
empieza,
Nah,
pues,
so,
imagínate, güey, un buenos días, and everybody says it. That's 40
2 p.m.
messages.
It's already 2 p.m. It's not even Buenos Dias anymore.
No,
by
no,
the
no,
time
no,
we're
no,
done.
no, because this is with like my mom and my aunts and everybody. So literally, my uncle, I fucking love his saying. He says, "Buenos días, Buenos Aires, buenos momentos." Levántense. I fucking love it, way. So yeah, way. Fucking 40. Just everybody saying buenos días. That's 40 messages
Wow.
minimum.
that's a commitment.
You
40
know?
people in
Yeah,
the
that's
group
a lot of
chat.
fucking-
Pues sometimes most of the time it's on silent. I go on there here and there and say
Oh,
what's
yeah.
up, pero pues está cabrón.
You don't mute them?
Y luego también all my boys. Well, I got a group message with 2 of my cousins, 2 of my buddies. Y pues esos güeyes también. They all get up early and they're fucking, 5 a.m. They're already going at it.
That's the fucking.
And then I got
Zion
these
boys,
fucking
man.
guys sitting behind me.
19-year-olds, man.
These fucking guys. What's the name of that fucking group message?
Don't say the name, man. We know who they are.
These
Bro.
fucking
Wait,
kids
now I have
start-
to know the name.
When these
once
kids
we're
start
done.
going, nah, no mames. There's mucho para mí.
Non-stop. Takes you back to when you're 19 with those fucking guys.
Yeah, but here and there, I'll get in with them, and I'll just fucking, I'll go hard for like 10 minutes, and then
But Paula, we do want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
For everyone
sure.
that are out there listening to local pods.
check
We
it
do
out for
recommend
sure.
it. Yeah, for real. Maybe we'll change the name. Maybe in the
I don't
future.
know. Gotta
But for
come
now, it's still for real podcast.
over,
sure.
over.
I'm gonna tell you the way we told our other two podcasters. Anything that my compadre Fry, y lo hicimos hasta con más confianza because we went to the almighty John F. Kennedy. Anything that you need from us,
That high school discount.
when it's graphic design, my compadre, doing some logos. When it's audio, my boy Jose Cermeño is always down to help. Camera work, anything that you might need production wise, do not hesitate. Because I've told the chingonas, I've told the compas. I was telling my compadre friend, like, man, why have they hit us up for any help? Like, we're down. We want to help out, as much as we can because we have, at least I have a bigger plan in motion with the whole Aguacate Podcast Network that I do plan on the people that are coming on here are coming in here. Other than the fact that we know you, it's more because I do have a plan in motion and I want to keep making all of us ¿cómo se dice? Que esté al tiempo con la gente, que nuestra gente lo escuche a ustedes, and vice versa. So,
For sure.
there's a big plan. It takes time, and you guys are part of a plan that hopefully one day I can execute. So we want to help out every way that we can. So thank you, and let us know if you need anything.
No, thank you. We appreciate it. And I mean, we've talked about, Fry's talked to us too. And it's just like, we appreciate it so much. And the
Yeah.
fact that, thanks to all of you, we brought us together and met the girls and, chingonas and compas and, Bart now and just everybody. And
Yeah.
we're so appreciative. Thank you.
I'm glad that worked. I
It did.
mentioned it before.
Yeah.
It wasn't my
purpose.
plan.
Plan con-
Yeah.
He
Plan
was
con maña?
really just
Yeah, it
putting
wa-
out his fucking podcast he listened
I mean,
to.
because the only one I knew was Checo. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't aware that you were Paula.
Or you
like,
know Paula, but you didn't know
I
it
didn't
was
know it was
Paula.
her. Yeah, it was Paula Garcia from, Frost Off soccer
Frost
team.
off soccer.
And the Chingona, I didn't even know the Chingona. So it was just one of those, the chain effect, like when you buy the Starbucks coffee for the guy behind you kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it was good. And all the other, every time you guys post some, like I find a new one, like Los Boys.
Los Boy Podcast.
Yeah, like just different ones that I've started to listen to because like I love to listen to big podcasts and just different ones, but it's always amazing to hear like the people around you because there's just there's that connection there.
relate.
Like
Yeah,
you
relate,
could
how you
relate
can relate.
exactly.
Hey, you got to check out Breaking Point. I don't know
Okay.
if you've seen that.
No,
No, with Cigar and Jetty. He's very good. Check out Breaking Points. Check out Midnight Climax.
I've seen you post that one. Yes.
Yeah, that one's good, man. It's that CIA shit. I like CIA stories too.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are good for now, but Breaking Points is very, very good. But
Thank you. I
anyway,
appreciate it. Thank you.
everybody, please
Thank
go
you, thank
follow
you.
For Real Podcast. Paula
sure.
G, my boy Bart. You're all good.
Yes, sir.
The Smoky section.
you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming out for sure.
Hell yeah. Go follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, con Puros Compas
Oh.
Podcast. Our new day, Tuesday releases. So we'll be out
Tomorrow?
every Tuesday. Every Tuesday.
The smoking
So
session
that's
was,
gonna be our new date, Smoky Session. Thank you for coming through. You guys haven't been here in 2 fucking months. Man.
good to
Guys
see
get a
you
job.
guys.
They get a job and then that's it.
yeah.
No more PlayStation in the office. No more guys in the office. Thank you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
Ya se la saben, la pura positiva. Jose, thank you, bro.
Yep.
Ding dong.